if, excuse me, not if, but when society collapses, I want to eat Tom Hanks. This is Jar Humor speaking, and I want to talk to you about AI art and robots making art. But let me first explain my opening statement. There is a tradition amongst cannibals that they have to boil the meat so that they don't become the person that they're eating. And if society collapses, I want to eat Tom Hanks because I want to be as charming. I want his acting skills and his charm and his charisma. Even though Tom Hanks is getting up there in age and he looks... Doesn't Tom Hanks look chewy? I'm thinking maybe Leonardo DiCaprio. Maybe I want to eat Leonardo DiCaprio and absorb his essence. I want to eat Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. I want to put them together. I want to absorb their essence and put it into my short, pudgy, hairy, pasty, George Costanza-esque body. That's what AI art is. And AI makes art because it goes out and it searches images for things on the internet. It finds images and it mushes them together. Like how the rich and powerful will eat people, allegedly. I guess I should say allegedly. Or like, I don't know, like there's something to that. I feel like the whole you are what you eat really does kind of... Well, why I think there's some type of scientific basis, if I could justify my statements. Why I think there's some type of justification for you eating someone and taking on certain aspects of them is because, have you ever heard about people who get like heart transplants and they like retain a skill or like somehow the like, especially the heart has like memory cells in it. It has like its own mind. And there's been stories about people who've received organs from other people and have taken on traits like behavioral traits or cravings for food or skills, even like art skills. And somehow I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about that lately because I've been trying to absorb the essence of things. I've been eating raw tuna lately. I'm like, a tuna, it's an ambitious animal, right? It swims upstream and spawns, and I'm like, no, you idiot, that's a salmon. I'm like, okay, well, what does a tuna do? I don't know what a tuna does. It's just a fish. I'm like, but it's ambitious, right? And sure, it's ambitious. Just whatever. All I know is, according to the bag of this frozen ahi tuna that I buy, it doesn't say anywhere I can't eat it raw. And you buy a poke bowl, that's what it is. I spray it with distilled vinegar because I'm nervous that there might be some bacteria, because society has brainwashed me to not eat raw foods because it knows it's robbing me of the essence of the food. Raw, organic, natural. It doesn't want you to have that. It wants you eating processed, refined sugars. And that's what AI art is. I keep trying to tie it back to what the subject matter is going to be. I swear I'm going to talk about AI art, but I just want to get this out of the way. A robot could not, in my opinion, though I am ignorant, create art on its own. It can only mimic and imitate other artists. It can mush them together and make something based on the suggestions. Like, I've never really used any of these things that are available. People keep telling to me, it's like, oh, bro, like just type in like this thing, like if you want it to write you an essay or like a joke or something. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It can write things. It can make art. I don't really want the robots to do that. And in particular, I have a dislike of algorithms and robots in general, because, okay, so I'm a cartoonist and I like to do a lot of freelance work for people. People who have either like a podcast or an album they're coming out with, or they have a book. I do a lot of book covers, podcast covers, and album covers. Those are like the main thing. And children's books. And I also like to illustrate children's books. Those are like the main things that I do. Well, the website that I get these commissions through has downgraded me severely over the last few months, because I had one client. She would message me every morning like 5 or 6 times with suggestions about the art. Oh, can you make the cartoon this or that? And it's like, oh, I was thinking, like, am I going to need this, or can you help me with the book cover for this? Like, they were little spare little thoughts that she would have. Rather than writing one email, she just kind of would write little things. So me being the degenerate artist that I am, I wake up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I told that joke backwards, by the way. I should say I woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, what with being a degenerate artist and all. I apologize. I've been drinking. It's like 12 o'clock at night or something. It's 12 or 1 a.m. I don't know. There's clocks everywhere, but not a damn one of them says the exact same thing, and that bothers me. I only had one glass. I had one glass of Moscato, okay? All right, I'm tired. I'm relaxed. I'm at home. All right, you know, I decided I wanted to pick up the recorder, and I wanted to record this because I had these thoughts about AI art. For 5 months now, I have not gotten any commissions after this event happened with this woman. The company, the website that I was getting these commissions from, and I was getting them on a regular basis, 2 or 3 a week, somehow determined through what I believe is a robot, an algorithm, that I was neglecting this woman. I wasn't being responsive to her comments because I would just send her one email based on everything she said to me. So she'd send me 5 emails. I'd send her one email in the afternoon covering every concern she had. I was very attentive, okay? It's like, oh, do I have to prove that I was good to this woman? Do I really have to have receipts? Look, everything that she needed. She was incredibly needy. She was a good client too. I made several book covers for her. She had a series of books, like women empowerment books. I don't know what they were. I don't really know. But I made really great cartoon art for her. Really cool stuff. And she paid me a lot of money, and I can't complain. But the website that I got the commissions from, they told me, oh, we don't like what you're doing anymore. And I feel that's the reason. But as I told this story to people were like, no, man, dude, AI art. And I'm like, what? Because I don't watch the news. I don't care about social media, so I'm pretty isolated. I don't know, like, they're like, no, man, AI art. Robots can draw things now. And I go, well, yeah, I get that as an idea. It's like, no, man, everybody's using AI art now. I'm like, really? Is that really? So I started asking people. Full disclosure, I work at a grocery store. I have to now. Before it was just something I did to earn extra money. Now it's the thing I do to earn the money. It's terrifying. I work at a grocery store now. I'm no longer a cartoonist who has a part-time job as a grocery clerk. I'm now a grocery clerk who may at some point in the future be paid to make a cartoon. It's terrifying. So people kept saying to me, yeah, AI art. So I asked someone at work, and he's like, oh yeah, he goes, I have a small business. He was also a part-time guy. He's like, I have a small business, and we put together websites. He's like a web designer. He goes, yeah, we've started using AI art for everything now. He goes, all you have to do is put into the thing what you want. Like, oh, I need a happy couple buying a new house. Boom, it makes a happy couple buying a new house within, like, minutes or something, he said. I don't know how long it takes. And, like, where that would take me 3 or 4 days. So it's instant gratification, which people love. And it's cheap, which people love. It's cheap and fast. It's fast food art. Oh, no, I can't compete with this, right? It's soulless. It's got no nutritional value. It's probably a burger made out of pink slime, but people are eating it up, and it's like, oh no. So then this other woman that comes into the store I work at, she's the mother of a bass player of a band that's actually a famous band, and I can't name the band, but no one cares about them now. They were popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. No one thinks about them anymore. When she said the name of the band, I go, yeah, that sounds familiar. I think, like, a guy I went to high school with had your son's band as a sticker on his skateboard. She's like, yeah, probably a lot of skaters like, do like this band. I go, yeah, I remember them. They're still around. I'll be damned. But anyway, she was telling me, she goes, people are mad at my son because the latest album cover they released was done by AI art, and everybody's so mad. And I go, and I try to explain to her, yeah, they're mad because of people like me don't get work because of that. And she's like, well, no, I don't understand this. And I bit my tongue because I like her. She's very sweet, and I talk to her all the time. And I hope she never hears this, but here's the truth. The truth is, your son should have known better. He's an artist. He's an independent artist. I don't care how popular he was in the 90s. He's indie now, all right? I don't think people sell CDs anymore, but I guarantee he was selling CDs out of the back of someone's car after shows at some crappy little bar. All right, I guarantee they went through that phase. They should know what it is to be an independent artist. They should know how tough that is. And to think someone comes along and just goes, well, why do I need to listen to your songs? This robot over here wrote a bunch of songs that are much better than your songs. How do you do that? And she showed me the artwork, and the artwork has a certain technique to it, but it is rather soulless. There is this weird hollow feeling to AI art. There is a plasticky, textural way about it. Especially the thing that bothers me the most about AI art is they really are not good with hands. They've probably gotten better in the last 30 seconds because the machines are learning at an incredible speed. But the pictures that I've seen of like human beings, mostly celebrities turned into some type of degrading, fetish type thing. The hands are always so gnarly and weird, like something out of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Like it's terrifying. And I couldn't explain to her though that her son really made him, and the people let him know in the comments that he was a douche. Like you're taking money from people. You could have hired an artist, like you could have hired, and you really can. You could hire someone to do something. I've done plenty of album covers. And I'm someone who's very much against technology, not really on principle, but just I feel like we've lost over the years authenticity when it comes to art. So I'm still a pen and ink artist. I use a computer to color things and to touch things up, but all of my cartoon art starts with a pencil sketch. And then I go back and ink it, and then I scan the ink drawing. I scan the line art, and I go back, I clean it up a little bit, and then I add color to it using the computer. But it's very low tech. Like, people have seen my process before, and they're like, why don't you just get a thing that allows you to draw on the computer? And I'm like, I do. I have the thing. I have one of those Wacom tablets. I bought it one time. I bought the thing. I have used it. I've used it to clean things up. I've used it to add things to things, but not for the initial artwork. There's something about the way I can improvise with a pen. There are these happy mistakes that occur when you take pencils and pen and you just put it on the paper. You never quite know what's going to come out. A great example of this is if you look at any of the artwork of Ralph Steadman. If you've ever seen the Terry Gilliam film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the Hunter S. Thompson movie with Johnny Depp as Hunter S. Thompson, his artwork's all over that. Ralph Steadman is someone who really, like, the ink just goes on the paper and it does whatever it's going to do organically. And I love that sort of authentic feel. I'm also a huge fan of Robert Crumb's work. Crumb is a pen and ink guy who's amazing. Like, the textures he can create with a pen is nothing short of magic. It's wonderful. I strive for that. Though, let's be realistic. my cartoons are more Garfield and Dilbert than they are like Robert Crumb or Ralph Steadman. Like, you know, my stuff's pretty simplistic, though I have been known to do some pretty kick-ass album covers. I've done some cool stuff, some stuff I'm really proud of. I've done some kids' book illustrations that I really like. One of my favorite projects was called Turd Monster's Clumsy Day. It's about a turd. It's just the adventures of a turd. He has a clumsy day. It's adorable. There's a video I made about it, you can find wherever you find my videos. And then there's the book is like available on Amazon. I remember Amazon got mad at the creator of the book. His name is also James, and his full name escapes me. I bet you I could find it if I looked it up on. I apologize to him. I can't remember his name. This was a while ago. We did this project, but he and I. Hold on. Let me pause while I look for this. I have that ability. I have the ability to pause this recording while I gather my thoughts. And since this is only the second time I've given one of these little talks into this recorder for public consumption, I'm not quite used to what I can do. It's like a cough button. If I just start into this damn thing, you're gonna turn away. No one wants to hear that. I have a button I can push. I'm gonna push that button now while I gather this information. Yeah, James Evan Burroughs. I thought his last name was Burroughs, but I'm like, no, are you just thinking of William Burroughs? It's like, no, that's his name. He was the writer of Turd Monster's Clumsy Week. I'm so glad he found me and said, hey, I want to make this book. He sent me the script, and I sat down and I started drawing a turd monster. And it was such a great project, but it all started with pen and ink. And I'm so glad he didn't have a robot draw Turd Monster's Clumsy Week. I'm glad I got the privilege of being the artist that created that. When my friend James H. Lucas came to me with his idea, he had a children's book that he wrote. And he's like, I'd really like you to do the chapter illustrations for Tacos from Outer Space. That was the first children's book. It's more like a mid, what is it called? Like middle school reader, you know, it's like a chapter book. It's a chapter book. That's a good way to put it. I did the chapter illustrations for Tacos from Outer Space. I've done children's books. I've done album covers, podcast covers, and everything like that. And I'm very proud of the work. Especially also on my own, I've made t-shirt designs that have... One of my t-shirt designs, which is actually robot related, called Robot Talk, where one robot is saying something to the other robot in binary, and the other robot's like, I know, right? That was actually purchased and worn by, hold on a second. Okay, the guy that bought and wore my t-shirt to an event, his name is Bruce Valanche. If you're a young person, you don't know who Bruce Valanche is. For all the mommies and daddies out there, do you remember Hollywood Squares? Bruce Valanche used to be on Hollywood Squares. He's a comedy writer. He's a legend. I love him. And when I found out he had purchased my t-shirt and wore it to an event, he wore it to like a step and repeat red carpet event where he was photographed wearing my t-shirt. That was one of the proudest moments of my artistic career. Also the fact that there's another guy that I started talking to through the internet named Troy Froman. Troy Froman played Ox on the TV show Saved by the Bell. And he commissioned me to create a t-shirt featuring him as the Ox character, smashing his fist through the word Ox. And he purchased like a bunch of the t-shirts. He gave them out as gifts. And one of the people he gave the t-shirt to was B filmmaker Jim Warnowski, the creator of one of my favorite films, Chopping Mall. I have a photograph of Jim Warnowski wearing a t-shirt I designed. The guy that directed Chopping Mall. He also did something, I can't remember, it's like Shark Attack in an Arkansas women's prison or something like that. I'm sorry, Jim, that I don't remember the exact title of your B movies. He also does a lot of those movies with talking dogs for families. Like it's, but he's one of the great schlockmeisters, and there's an incredible amount of pride I have for the work that I've done, and to think that like a robot, like someone wants to hire a robot to create something, when to me that feels soulless. Like, don't you want a person with ideas and passion and an actual human being who can sit down and put lines on a piece of paper? Or are you just looking for a representation of the thing you want? Because a person I was talking to at work who uses a lot of AI art for websites that they design, they're soulless cookie cutter websites. No offense to the guy that creates them, but that's what they are. They have function, not style or art or emotion. They're just functional. Here is the message that we want to get across. Here's the symbol. They might as well be clip art. AI art is basically just fancy clip art. All right, it's more specific clip art. That's not what you want for projects. You know? I also just realized that I was talking crap about the website that, you know, that I use to get commissions, but I actually probably should promote it. So rather than verbally say it, I will leave links in the description of whatever you're listening to, where you can hire me to cartoon your crap. To do it that way. This way I still skirt that legal area of talking crap about their website, because it's run by an algorithm. Imagine how many aspects of daily life are actually run by algorithms. This is a machine is making a decision. Okay, right now, the words that you're listening to are being judged by a robot, determining whether or not I've created any thought crimes and need to be removed from the internet. Like right now it's trying to determine that so it can flag my video. And that's why I wanted to start this video out confusing it by saying I was going to eat Tom Hanks. I should have just kept going and naming all the different celebrities I would eat. Like, hey, gang, in the comments, which celebrity would you eat to gain their essence, their power? Also, I do think doing this after having like a couple drinks was either a great idea or a bad idea, because I feel like I'm having a lot of fun, but this may be insufferable to listen to. I don't know. I woke up yesterday and I said I want to create what is basically a podcast. I just want to do what I've been doing for years and talk into a voice recorder and have fun doing that, and kind of because I feel like there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of me creating stuff that would be interesting and entertaining to an audience. This is an artist at work right now. It's late. I've been drinking, which I think is a bad idea. I think in the future, I can't promise no more alcohol, but what I can promise is I get a hold of psilocybin again. We're gonna have a really good talk. we're gonna talk about the nature of reality with that. So no, but AI art, if I were to weigh in on it, I feel like it's soulless. I feel like it's not. If you yourself are striving for authenticity as someone who is a musician, or as a podcaster, or someone who's creating something like a children's book or a brand, hire a real artist. Don't get a robot to do your work. That's lame. When I was a kid, Radio Shack sold this robot called Robbie the Robot. And they advertised him as being your robot butler. He had a little tray, and you could set drinks on the tray, and he could bring it out to the living room. Here's what they don't tell you, is that you know what else was popular in the 80s? Shag carpet. And Robbie the Robot really can't get across shag carpet too well. And someone has to be in the kitchen to put the drinks on Robbie's tray. And chances are no one wants to participate in your crap, so you end up going in the kitchen, putting the drinks on the tray, then going back to where you want to be in your bedroom, and then trying to remote control Robbie to you when you could have just brought the drinks because you thought you were living in the future. You're not living in the future. Robots are only cool in movies. Real robots are lame. They're horrible and they're destroying society. Whether it be a robot that creates art, a robot that makes decisions about things like an algorithm, a robot that you can have an intimate relationship with, that can't be good for your mind. You need genuine interactions with an actual human being, not with a robot. These fake AI girlfriends that are coming out, some of them are digital, but then they want to put them in. They want to put them in a doll with robot parts and everything like that. And, I've seen, I saw Blade Runner 2049, and I remember, Cherry 2000 and stuff like that. Yeah, there's part of me that's a sci-fi nerd man that be like, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. But then I realized the reality of it is that, much like the algorithm that's listening to me right now, she'd report me for thought crimes. Every day. I couldn't say anything around her. I would have this bimbo-looking government wiretap just in my house, walking around all creepy, who let me do whatever I want to her, but also will rat me out, and I'll be picked up by men in the middle of the night and taken to a reprogramming station where I have to be brainwashed to think like society wants me to think. It's not a good future. Don't let robots make your art. That's all I have to say about that. So yeah. This is Jar Humor. Thank you so much for listening to this moderately inebriated rant on why robots are destroying our society and why cannibalism probably not a good idea either. But do try to eat better, try to eat more raw natural foods to gain the essence of the thing. And you can find me anywhere on the internet at Jar Humor or on my website jarhumor.com. This is, in fact, the former cartoonist, now turned podcaster, I guess, because no one will pay me to draw anything anymore. Jar Humor, signing off.